Welcome to Ripped from Reddit. I'm your host Daniel. r/AskReddit. What's the most interesting piece of local folklore or local legend where you're from? Oh boy, there are so many good ones. I'll tell some of my favorites. Mapinguari, a huge monster with only one eye and his mouth is on the belly. His smell is so strong that can stun and kill you. He can also turn night into day, and it eats people. Kabaquinhodamata, it means something like the jungle boy. He rides a wild pig and beats hunters that hunt more than they need. He usually beats them until death. The snake, they say there is a giant snake that lives beneath a church in my town. The botto, a magical river dolphin that at night becomes a handsome man that seduces young ladies and impregnate them and then leaves at the morning. The beater, a ghost from the jungle that makes a sound like someone hitting the trees. If you scream beat closer, the sound gets closer. If you scream beat further, the sound go far. If you let the sound gets too close, it kills you. Those are my favorites, but there are more. The botto, a magical river dolphin that at night becomes a handsome man that seduces young ladies and impregnate them and then leaves at the morning. That sounds like one of those stories a family made up in ye olden times to explain the actions of a pregnant and wed daughter, lol. Until you find out that dolphins are notorious rapists. The botto is actually a real dolphin. I would totally watch a TV show or movie about any of these legends instead of more superhero stuff. That would be awesome. There was a puppet show that passed in TV when I was a kid that covered some legends, but it was a kids show. I would totally watch a TV show or movie about any of these legends. Oh boy, in the superhero movie Shazam, there's a monster that gobbles up people via opening its stomach like a mouth. Pretty neat. Instead of more superhero stuff. When I used to live in the Philippines, we had something called a manananggal, which literally translates to the act of removing. Anyways, this crazy bitch can separate her body and spawn bat wings on her back and proceeds to look for pregnant women. Once a pregnant woman is found, it lurks on the roof of its house and waits for them to sleep. Then once the victim is asleep, the tongue becomes Mr. Fantastic and finds its way into said pregnant woman and sucks the fetus hearts out, or the woman's blood. Yep. My friend's grandfather used to scare the shit out of us with tales about the aswang and some giant that smoked cigars. Yep, that would be the Capra. It's a semi-giant humanoid being that smokes cigars that would hallucinate you. You would get lost in heat forest till you pass out. Wake up to it about to eat you. I always thought it was a tale to keep kids from cigars and from wandering too far. Well, it scared the shit out of me. I remember running crying to my Polish grandmother, and she told me I was being foolish, they're not real, but Baba Yaga and Leshy were. Just don't kick Baba Yaga's dog. That sounds straight from a horror movie. I love it. We have the similar ghost in Malaysia called Penanggalan. It detaches its head from its body and flies around at night with its entrails trailing behind. Edit. We also have other strange ghosts such as Hantu Tetuk, which is a ghost with pendulous breasts. It steals away children by hiding it under its breast. Another favorite of mine is Hantu Galap. It's a very tall ghost. If you walk between its legs, it will squeeze you to death between its legs. That's crazy. I speak a Filipino dialect called Kapampangan, and how we say remove is Penanggal. Here's a statue of a tall blue horse outside the Denver airport whose eyes glow red at night. Its original name is the Blue Mustang, but we call it Blue Cipher apparently. Soon after the artist was done painting its head, it fell on his leg, severing an artery and killing him. And interestingly enough, that same airport has had conspiracy theories tying it to things like the Illuminati. The Denver International Airport is just fucking weird all around. From the murals to that horse to the layout of the runways to the rumors of the military bunkers underneath the airport itself. In Alabama, there is a camp where a plane supposedly crashed back in the 40s 50s. The pilot miraculously survived, but lost his legs or the use of them. Depending on who you ask, the detail changes. So, one night he snuck into the stables that were on the camp, cut the legs off one of the horses, and attached to them as his own legs. Unsurprisingly, his body rejected his new legs and died. They say if you walk in the forest at night and encounter this mysterious pilot, he will cut your legs off so that he might walk again. What happens if you encounter the horse he cut the legs off of? Same as any other horse, run away from you at first, then cave your skull in if you pursue it. The local crackhead has various conflicting backstories. I really hope this comment gets more attention. One of the funnier ones, if seen on Reddit lol. I live in what I've come to know as the Bridgewater Triangle, which is basically a bunch of towns in Massachusetts, where paranormal phenomena is known to go down. Southwest Missouri, we have the Joplin spook light, an unexplained orb of light that appears on a specific country road at night sometimes. I think the most common explanation is that it's car lights being reflected from another road, but the earliest photo of this light predates automobiles, so who knows. I'll tell the story of the one time I tried to go see the light, taken from another AskReddit thread from earlier this week. I went to college earlier this decade in Joplin, Missouri. During my first semester, there are all of these activities happening to help freshmen get acquainted with the school and the area. One such activity was to go find the Joplin spook light. Now, I'm a scaredy cat for anything horror related. I hate horror movies, but I love anything creepy, urban legends, etc. My friend and I decided to sign up. We met at the school at the scheduled time at night. Enough people signed up that they were taking 3 large vans. We all pile into the vans, and they drive us out to see the light. We got out to the area at about 11 PM. We are allowed to walk about a mile up and down the road from where we parked, but everyone was required to have a partner. My friend and I stayed together. Everyone stayed out there for a few hours. At one point, we, and a few other people, walk by this house, where these 2 Amish ladies live. They are outside, in their full Amish garb, holding lanterns, chanting. They are talking about how the devil is going to get us. We mostly ignore them, but it was pretty creepy. After a few hours, it's time for the group to leave. A few people claim to have seen it. My friend and I don't see anything. It's about 2 AM. We all pile back in the vans. As we're about to leave, suddenly, about 10 to 15 police vehicles crest the hill. No sirens, but they all have their lights going. They completely surround us. We are scared shitless, but our guides get out of the vans to talk to them. The Amish ladies had called the police. They always do when people are in that area for the spook light. The closest officers to the area were on their way to set up a sobriety checkpoint somewhere, so they all decided to come investigate the call for shits and giggles. They already knew that a group from the school was going out there that night. After the guides spoke with them, we were free to go. My friend and I got home around 4 AM. At the end of it all, we were more disappointed than anything after not seeing the spook light. When we were in the moment of everything else happening, we were definitely creeped out and scared. I've been trying to talk my fiance into going to find the light again sometime soon, because she's into the paranormal as well. However, I think we might not be willing to go without a group lol. I came here to mention the spook light. There are reports of it going all of the way back to the 1850s. I didn't see at the time that I tried to go, but I have plenty of rational friends that have crazy stories about it. We have a strange one from my hometown in the Midwest. The legend follows: if you go to this certain bridge at night in the middle of the Botanis, you need to bring 3 things. Baby powder, a vehicle to get you there, and for the supernatural to occur, a change of pants. When you get to this bridge, you're supposed to park your car in the middle of it and leave it idling. Take the baby powder and sprinkle it on your front and back bumper. Then, you wait. Soon things become silent, and you can hear faint distorted screams. Sometimes the car will shake. Once you've had enough, turn off the car and go check out your bumpers. There should be handprint in the baby powder. Proceed to change underwear and leave as fast as possible. In Chile, we have the ananuka, a flower. Its name comes from a legend that tells the story of this beautiful indigenous woman named Ananuka. Every man desired her, but she was uninterested as fuck, until a miner comes to town and they fall madly in love. They were about to get married, but one night he had a dream about where to find a treasure, and he left Ananuka. She woke up alone. He never came back, and she died waiting for him. They buried her under the rain, and the very next morning, the spot she was buried in was covered in flowers, which we now know as ananukas. It's a really pretty story though. There's clowns on the Highway 74. More information please? Ortega Highway in California is supposedly haunted with something that resembles a clown. Where I live there's this legend that says that the devil used to swing from 2 mountains on the sides of the town, tossing a metal ball and catching it over and over. But one day, he doesn't catch the ball and it falls in the city. When he tries to pick it up, he is unable to do so, no matter how hard he tries, and leaves it there. That ball is in front of basically the only library in the entire town. Ball droppings can be a beautiful thing. For example, when it turns an awkward soprano into a rich, full tenor. That there is a black panther in the hills. This is a very old folklore. I'm from Australia, so we don't get panthers in the wild. In the Dandenong Ranges? If so, I can confirm this folklore as a fellow Aussie. There's an island in the middle of our local lake officially named Fungal Island that was rumored to have an old Boy Scout camp on it. According to the legend, it was busted for the scout masters doing some very pedophile-like stuff on the island, and the island is now referred to as Fungal Island. It's been abandoned for a long time. Shotgun Annie. She lived in my small town of 2,000 people around 40 years ago, and apparently whenever someone got onto her property she would demand they pay, or else she'd shoot them. And when nobody paid she would chase them off her property with a shotgun. Well, one time some girl didn't pay, and she killed her. My great aunt Gussie actually used to do this. Lmayo. Thank you for watching.